it all day, and oh, it's right there. It's the headbutt at the end.
Anyways, guys, doubleheader. There's only 2 left, so get ready for this. But both these games should be good, hopefully. Better than yesterday. But, yeah, here are your predictions for Monday Night Football. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the week 6 or 7, something like that. We're getting really close to it. It's getting bad at this point. There's a bunch of edits on it too. But we have a Monday Night Football doubleheader. Again, it's like the one, what was it, week 4? So a couple weeks ago, it's the same structure as that one. But better matchups than that one. So these games, I'm not gonna say they're great games, but they're better than last week's. Which again, or not last week's, 2 weeks ago. There we go. I'm kind of all jumbled up. But anyway, our matchup is in the first game of the doubleheader is the Bills and the Falcons. The Bills coming in at 4-1 off of their first loss of the season against the Patriots, but they had an extra day to figure this out. Falcons are coming off their bye week, so both these teams have had sort of extended times to figure out what they're going to want to do in this one. Like I said, for the Bills, they did just lose their first game of the season. That was against the Patriots, who they had not lost to in actually a really long time now that I think about it. It's kind of crazy they lost that game. But still, it was going to happen eventually. Last week wasn't the worst week for it to happen. Now they're going to look to, again, bounce back against a team that they have not played since 2021. And in that game, it was basically a must-win, if I'm not mistaken, for them to win the division. And they won that one 29-15. But this is a Bills team that is coming in definitely going to want to play better than they did last week. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, like I said, they're just coming off their bye week. They had a pretty solid offensive performance in week 4, but still, it really didn't again, it definitely had a little bit of a silver lining to it, considering the fact that their defense still didn't play that well. And they haven't really been that great since that week 2 performance against the Vikings. Honestly, guys, this is a Falcons team that seems to have fallen to a little bit of obscurity, but if they're able to play well against the Bills, and again, a big sort of spotlight game for them, that'll definitely help their movement as they look to, again, kind of ascend in NFC South that isn't really looking great outside of, it's actually on the up and up, never mind. But we'll see how things work out for them, though. Anyway, though, again, Michael Penix has a lot of questions. This Bills team and Falcons team have not played near in 8 years. I'm not going to try to get into this one. Anyway, though, it'll be at 7:15 on ESPN, as well as the ESPN app. You're going to need $30 to get that if you want to watch it on there. But also NFL Plus, Hulu Plus, Live TV, a bunch of other shenanigans. Announcing this game will be Chris Fowler, Louis Riddick, Darren Orlovsky, Katie George, Peter Schrager. That's a lot of people for one game, but still, it's a pretty good group overall. For the Bills, though, their starting lineup: Josh Allen is completely healthy. He's completely ready to go, hopefully. I don't know, maybe he's... James Cook's a running back. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson are the backup running backs. You have Keon Coleman. You got in a little bit of trouble. I think he got benched. Is he benched? I think he's benched. Something like that. Close secure, Joshua Palmer, Tyrell Shavers are there as well. Elijah Moore, I guess, is on this team. Curtis Samuel is questionable. He was probably one of the better receivers last week. Dalton Kincaid's questionable. Dawson Knox will probably play anyway. Reggie Gilliams at fullback. Offensive line is completely healthy. I expect them to have a bounce back week from a pretty lackluster performance last week, especially with a guy like James Cook, who they let down several times schematically on film from what I saw. Speaking of that, defensively, Greg Rousseau, the best Miami pass rusher. Again, look out for Ruben Bain, the guy out of Miami. He's pretty freaking good. I'm not trying to pull some draft prospects in here, but I just watched 2 hours of the tape, so just wanted to mention that. Anyway, Joey Bosa, Javon Solomon, and A.J. Epineza are all off the edge, with Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones also there. Matt Milano's out at will linebacker. Shaq Thompson's behind him. Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams are the other linebackers. Their secondary is sort of healthy. That's probably the best way to put that. Matt Prater and Mitch Wishnowsky are the kicker and punters, with Brandon Cotterton and Reed Ferguson at kicker and long snapper. Returner and long snapper. There we go. For the Falcons, they have Michael Penis Jr. at quarterback, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Alligator in the backfield. Darnell Mooney will not be ready for this one, so Ray McLeod, Casey Washington will continue to play a lot, and obviously Drake London is their number one receiver. Kyle Pitts has been very good for them. Their offensive line is mostly healthy. Defensively, though, D-line, again, outside of LaCale London, who I don't even know who's on this team, are all healthy. Edge rushers are good to go. Look out for Jalen Walker and James Pierce to have a big day, or big night. Yeah, this game's a night. Caden Ellis, Divine Diablo are linebackers. Secondary, outside Billy Bowman being questionable, is basically ready to go. Parker Romo, Bradley Pinion at kicker and punter. Jamal Agnew, Liam McCullough round out things there for the Falcons. There we go. For this game, I honestly think it's got to go in entertaining. I don't think it is a must-watch game, but it is definitely a game that you got to tune into a little bit of it. It's just, again, if you missed it, again, if you're like late or something to this game, it's not going to be the end of the world. I think there's definitely a real possibility with this game, but it's definitely an intriguing matchup just because, especially the Falcons, we really don't know how good they are. But anyway, for this game, I'm going to say the Bills bounce back. I don't see it being a game where they have a whole lot of trouble, but at the same time, I do see this Falcons defense playing better than they did in week 4. But again, this Falcons team, I think, will be, again, if you're a good head coach in Raheem Morris, you should be well prepared. But I say the Bills win this one 26-16, a bounce back performance from their defense, and they run the ball very, very consistently in this one. I don't expect too many big plays, but I definitely expect a very solid ground attack on both sides of the ball for the Bills, or ground defense, if you look at it that way. Anyway, let's get to the second game of this doubleheader. And the second game of our doubleheader features another team that's coming off a bye, that being the Bears. But overall, it is the featured matchup here on this Monday Night Football slate, and it is going to be a pretty darn good game. Bears, like I said, are coming off their bye at 2-2. They have won back-to-back games. They've looked a lot better since that Week 2 outing against the Lions. Their defense has looked much better. They also have had a very, very, very fortunate bounce in terms of who they played. Again, Cowboys not looking good in Week 3. And who'd they play in week 4? How am I breaking this in my head? I honestly, the Raiders. There we go. Again, that was definitely a big bounce. But anyway, they've had more than enough time to figure out what they're going to have to do here against Commanders, especially offensively, as they hopefully can do what they did a couple years ago here, which we'll get to in a minute. For the Commanders, they come in at 3-2. They had a very nice performance last week against the Chargers as they held them out at out of the scoring column after the first quarter. Their defense looked absolutely phenomenal after a pretty shaky week 4 performance, but partly getting Jaden Daniels back helps stabilize that offense somewhat. Their running game is still a little bit of a mystery in terms of, again, how consistent they can be, but they were very good last week. Their offense is still, at least passing-wise, is still trying to get into a groove, as a guy like Terry McLaurin has not been able to stay healthy, and that's really hurt their growth there as well. I'm interested to see how the secondary plays, though, after a very, very strong performance last week. Anyway, though, the Bears and Commanders have played a pretty decent amount the past couple of years. We all know what happened here last year in the Hail Mary, and if you think that is the outro, you would be mistaken. I'm not even kidding with that. We're not doing that for the outro. But still, the Bears and Commanders played in Week 5 a couple years ago. We're not talking about last year, and the Bears put up 40 points and blew them out. That's all I'm saying there. We're not getting into that, what happened last year for Tyreek Stevenson. That'll be pretty fun to watch, though. This game will be at 8:15. It's not going to be any earlier. Hopefully, it's not going to be any later. On ABC as well as the app. Again, if you want to pay $30 a month, that's all you. NFL Plus is there as well. But you look at the weather for this game, it's going to be 59 degrees. Expects a little bit of rain. Nothing insane, but definitely going to be... why is it Sunday? What the hell are we doing? There we go. Still rain. It's going to be a little bit more windy, though, and, not the most ideal weather, but expect something similar to what we saw last year here. Announcing this game will be Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, and Laura Rutledge. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun atmosphere here. For the Bears, though, offensively, there's really, outside of Colston Loveland not playing, any excuse for this offense not to be at their best. Theo Bennett is starting. Braxton Jones he's been absolutely abysmal to start this year. This is a guy that I might have watched 15 snaps at the most in college. That's from the footage I could get on him. So don't act like I have any idea how good he is. But I do know he's an absolute dog. He rarely gets off the line bad. And he can, again, maintain leverage pretty well. As a pass blocker, but he's still working on that. Joe Tooney, I honestly think, is the best offensive lineman in football right now. Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, or Darnell Wright have had decent starts. But again, Braxton Jones has kind of held this offensive line back. Receiving-wise, you need to see a guy like DJ Moore have a better game in this one, especially. Luther Burden kind of been all over the place. Alameda Zaccheaus is probably their best deep threat. Roma Dunze has been absolutely phenomenal so far this year. He is he's been really freaking good. DeAndre Swift, though, Kyle Monangai are in the backfield. Kyle Monangai, I expect to get a decent load this week. For this defense, though, a guy like Montez Sweat, you'd expect to be decent. Greg Jarrett's out. Outside of that, though, this front seven is basically not the most healthy. Secondary, they're good to go. Tyreek Stevenson, though, bro, are you good to go? I mean, this is definitely gonna be interesting to watch. Kyle Santos is questionable. Torrey Taylor, Devin Duvernay, Scott Daly are all rounding things out there for the Bears. For the Commanders, though, they don't have really much going for them, to be honest with you guys. Bill Krosky-Merritt's good to go, but Chris Rodriguez is questionable. Jeremy Nichols is also there. Jane Daniels is healthy, thank God. Terry McLaurin will not be playing this one as well. Noah Brown is out. They need David to play. Luke McCaffrey's going to have to step up again. Jalen Lane, we haven't seen too much of him. Zach Ertz, John Bates are at tight end. The offensive line is relatively healthy. Sam Cosby's been out the whole season so far. Defensively, this is where they're going to be good this week. I expect them to be very similar to last week. Matt Gay, Trustway, kicker and punter, and then they got some other randos doing some other things as well on this team. But with that said, this, again, the last game we're ranking in terms of how I'd want to watch it. I don't want to put this in a must-watch, but it's going to have to go there just because of, again, the storylines for this game. Is Tyreek Stevenson going to be, again, cursed in this game? Especially against this Commanders receiving core that isn't very good right now. Very interesting thing to watch. Are the Bears going to be able to, again, put together another big game? They were pretty good to start last season. I'll be very interested to see that. Are the Commanders' defense for real? A lot of big questions here. Again, I am going to be very intrigued to watch. With that said, though, who do I have winning this big-time game? Again, I see it going, again, definitely down to the wire, but I'm going to say the Bears figure it out. I see their offense putting up big-time yardage in this game. Points, we'll see. But yeah, I see the Bears being able to overcome some things and win this one 20. Let's say 22-20. I like that final score. That's gonna come up to 42 in total. And that is what I got in our final prediction from Week 6. Hope you guys enjoyed these games. Go check out the recap from Sunday, and I'll also see you guys to recap these games tomorrow. And yeah, here's your outro. It's not the Hail Mary. I'm telling you, it's not. Like right now, don't think it is. Let's go.
For the Falcons, if he can't return.
Ryan stepping up, throwing down the near sideline. It is caught by Tevin Coleman out of the backfield.
The official was. He's right.
Let's see, there's one. Oh, and the foot touch inbound.
The ball doesn't look like it moved. Let's watch one more time. Ball secure, 1 foot. And